In the 1930s, during a time where slavery was storming through the United States, one man would lead one of the most famed and gory slave rebellions of all time. Today, this rebellion is known as Turner's Rebellion. In this video, we will be discussing Nat Turner and the Turner Rebellion. Nat Turner was born on October 2, 1800 in Southampton County, Virginia. Nat Turner was born into slavery as a slave of Benjamin Turner. His mother, Nancy Turner, was also a slave, and his father is unknown, although it is to be believed he escaped slavery when Turner was very young. As a child, Nat was allowed to learn to read and write. He was also instructed in religious matters, which would follow him throughout his life. Nat Turner was sold 3 times before being hired out by John Travis. In 1810, Nat Turner's master, Benjamin Turner, passed away, and as Benjamin Turner's property, Nat was given to his son Samuel. At the age of 21, Nat would escape from Samuel Turner, but after being deliriously hungry and receiving a message from God, Nat returned. Nat Turner's religious beliefs started to continue when in 1824 he had a second vision while working in the fields. In this vision, the Savior was about to lay down the yoke he had borne for the sins of men, and a judgment day was on hand. Turner would continue conducting in religious matters, preaching the Bible to fellow enslaved African Americans, who dubbed him the Prophet. Turner also gained the support of white followers, with Turner crediting to have convinced to cease from the wickedness. Nat Turner would go on to marry a fellow slave named Cherry Turner, and together they would have a son, Riddick Turner. Although it is not known when the two officially married, they were separated through the slave trade in 1823 following the death of their master, Samuel Turner. After the separation of his family, Turner became a preacher and a leader for some enslaved African Americans in his Southampton County community, claiming to be chosen by God. By 1828, Turner was convinced that he was destined for a greater purpose in the hands of the Almighty. Turner started sharing his plans to fellow slaves in his small circle, though it was difficult finding ways to communicate their plot. It is to be believed Turner would summon his followers into the woods through usage of a particular song. Turner eagerly waited for God's signal to slay the enemies with their own weapons. Over time, more slaves would be included onto the plan, as the rebellion would take place, and it was only a matter of time before this happened. Turner had originally planned for the rebellion to be on the 4th of July, as he felt the Independence Day would have made the rebellion more meaningful due to the significance of the date. However, before the enslaved men could act, Turner had fallen ill. Turner and his group would use this extra time for additional planning. In 1831, Turner saw an eclipse as a sign it was meant to rise up, and he enlisted the help of other slaves in the area. On August 21, 1831, Turner and around 75 of his fellow enslaved men killed their master John Travis and his family, stole their arms and horses, and carried out Turner's rebellion, going home from home, freeing other slaves, and murdering around 55 white people. The rebellion would last till August 23, 1831. On October 30th, 1831, a man named Benjamin Phipps was walking across a nearby farm and noticed bushes moving in a manner to excite suspicion. According to a Richmond newspaper, below an overturned pine tree, Phipps raised his gun and a weak Turner emerged from the foxhole and surrendered. On November 5, 1831, Nat Turner was tried in court and on November 11, 1831, convicted to hanging in Jerusalem, Virginia, along with his followers. Turner was tortured, hung, and skinned. After the hanging, 55 African Americans were also executed for participating in Turner's rebellion. Supporters of slavery pointed out Turner's rebellion as evidence African Americans are inferior barbarians and slavery helps discipline them. This would lead to Southern states strengthening their slave code laws, and angry white people would go on to kill over 200 African Americans. In today's Thought Bubble, we'll be talking about two quotes about Nat Turner during this time. Thomas R. Gray, a lawyer for many during the trial, but not for Nat Turner, quoted, "The calm, deliberate composure with which he spoke of his late deeds and intentions, the expression of his fiend-like face when excited by the enthusiasm, still bearing the stains of blood of helpless innocence about him, clothed with rags and covered with chains, yet daring to raise manacled hands to heaven. With his spirit soaring above the attributes of man, I look on him and my blood curdled in my veins." Thomas R. Gray. The Richmond Enquirer, however, said, "What strikes us as the most remarkable thing in this matter is the horrible ferocity of these monsters." If you wish to learn more about Nat Turner, good books include The Confessions of Nat Turner by William Styron and The Fire of Jubilee, Nat Turner's Fierce Rebellion by Stephen B. Yates.